Hello everyone, welcome to my Married at First Sight 10 to 12 recap episode. This week we saw quite a lot. We saw the honesty box, we saw a commitment ceremony, and we saw some new couples. Let's start once again with Whitney and Duca. In the beginning, I really felt for Duca. I felt like Whitney was just being so awful to him. And what he endured, I was like, oh my word, you poor man, you and your father, I literally feel for you. But as it went on and he wrote stay in the first commitment ceremony and stuff, I was like, what do you really want out of this? And as the show's going on, the way that he speaks sometimes really annoys me. And that's not with the fact that, he's not English, not at all. It's, the way that he says like, Whitney girl, I feel ya. Like, it's cringy. Ugh. He's pretty suave though. That John Lennon outfit, let me tell you. Despite it all, they seem a lot more relaxed this week. What's really interesting is Whitney was even like, you know what, she enjoys the fact that he's more talkative, whereas she normally likes a guy on mute. So she's going for something that she didn't normally like. So that could work out in her favour because she's actually laughing, she's smiling. People are noticing that there's like a more positive vibe about them as a couple. It's literally like she's done a full 180. One thing I picked up is that in the commitment ceremony, when all the other couples are kind of having their bits of drama, Duca leans over and he whispers into her ear, look, other people have their cracks and they're starting to show. So I'm almost wondering if Whitney was just so scared of not being perfect, and she was basing their relationship off of all the other relationships around them, thinking like, oh my god, why aren't we like that? That's why she had these sky-high walls. It really just seems like they found their groove. They seem so much more natural and happy around each other. And who knows, maybe the whole thing will do a 180 and they'll be staying until the end, who knows? As for the honesty box, they got a chemistry question and, Whitney she was honest. She was like, you know what, I don't trust you yet, no. Another thing that's irritating me about Duca is that he was trying to sway everything into being this like cliche answer of, that looks fade, wisdom and intelligence remains and stuff like that. I'm just like, yeah, why can't you just speak like normally? Just stop giving us cliches, it's annoying. Anyway, in the end, they write stay, so guess we'll see more of them. Going on to Zoe and Jenna, as they walk into a room, all the other couples just cheer for them, so they clearly absolutely adore this couple. Sadly, Zoe just continues to jab at this whole veganism thing. Zoe's like, you know what, I've done 3 vegan meals this week and, I'm keeping the meat away from everything else in the fridge. Is that really that important? Like, a couple of vegan meals might be good for you. I did like, however, how Zoe was like, you know what, I'm willing to go 50% vegan for you, not without a fucking fight though. Their honesty box question was about compromise, and once again, the whole thing just centered around veganism. I am so tired of talking about it and hearing about it, like, fuck off. Eat what you want to eat, and shut up. Zoe, visibly breaks down, she, walks away, she has her moment, says she's really struggling. I mean, you can see how visibly, stressed this woman is. She's got a cold sore on her lip. And I'd be the same if every time I had a sip of wine I was thinking about fish guts.
I was going to say something inappropriate.
No,
because
but neither of them eat meat.
I was going to say sausage, but still. Don't put that on YouTube.
Why?
Because
last week there's so much more to a relationship than just
True,
someone's
though.
diet, and I
I
understand
mean, I
she's willing to
suppose a vagina
compromise,
is
but I
meat.
don't think Zoe realises how much I actually have compromised for her.
pink kebab.
My house at home is a meat-free zone. She's
It's
got everything in
lamb.
the,
Or
in the
taco.
fridge. I've not even mentioned that. I think Jenna's problem.
Thomas and Adrian, that fuck off Pride fan. Oh my god. Thomas is actually becoming my favourite one of this entire season. As much as I've said things that I don't agree with certain things about him, but he's fantastic. His humour is just off the charts. Like, when Adrian poured him a glass of bubbles and he was like, oh, thanks for my bubble bath. Just little one-liners like that. I'm just like, oh. He's like a simmering volcano just getting hotter and hotter, about to explode, and I am here for it. And then there was this really sentimental moment. So in their honesty box question, it was, what one thing would you change about me? And Adrian looked at him, and honestly, me and my partner both had tears in our eyes. He was like, I would change the situations that have made you so guarded. And just the way that he put it, and it was such a beautiful answer. So genuine, so real, so raw, and I was just like,
What did you think of Adrian's answer to Thomas's question? What would you change?
No, I generally have an eyelash in my eye. I promised I wasn't crying. No, I have actually got an eyelash in my eye. But it's sad. There's the nicest thing I've ever heard somebody say about someone else.
Yeah, you don't say anything like that about me.
I bloody do. All the time.
Oh, it was so cute. I'm crying.
Sadly, of course, it's not without the drama with Thomas. So Adrian's like, you know what, it's always about an audience for Thomas. Thomas is always the epicenter of all the drama. Thomas clearly has his back up with April. He's calling her a fraud. He's calling her fake. Like, he is being brutal with it. But the thing is that I think Thomas is the kind of person that would speak his truth no matter what. He is loud, proud, and will say it as it is. I think that he's been totally honest with everything that he's saying about April. April is just kind of there. She's just this boring thing trying to just look pretty on television. And I think she is stirring the pot. I think she's a nasty girl. Unfortunately, this whole and more drama is causing Adrian and Thomas to have some tension again. And throughout the episodes, Thomas is literally like clinging off the side of the sofa, like not wanting to be near him. He's got his back towards Adrian, like really pissed off with him. So Adrian's like, you know what? It's because of Thomas's past that there's all these issues and stuff, and he keeps bringing up his past. And Thomas is just like, you know what? Like, fuck off! Don't touch me. Thomas then eventually reaches his breaking point and he just like flips and sobs off stage. Those sobs were a little bit comical. However, eventually they write stay. Even though Thomas had written leave, he like tears it up and he's like, no, I'm staying. I take it back. Then we got Jess and PJ. Jess struts in before PJ. They are really positive about the previous week, yes week. Although I feel like PJ is just, he's being way too patient and that patience is just continuing and I just feel so much for that guy. You know, George, of all people, is really like supportive of PJ and Jess. He's like, you know what, I can see the spark there. Just hang in there, mate. Like really trying to like give him a shoulder. Unfortunately, their question is, can you see this developing beyond a friendship? And Jess says no. I think that you could see her really like hurt saying that to him and having to be that open and honest, because you can see that clearly she doesn't want to hurt him, but it's her truth, and I appreciate her speaking that. He takes it so well. Like he just continues to support her and make everything about her more than him, almost so much that it's like he's losing himself. He still believes that they've been put together for a reason. But honestly, unless the experts can give me one other thing besides the fact that they both mentioned Harry Potter, there is nothing about these two that is compatible. It's like, I like Harry Potter, I have loads of Harry Potter Lego, but does that mean that me and PJ are a great match? No. So she writes leave, PJ wants to stay, but you know, it's clear that, you know, it's going nowhere. You're wasting both of your time. I do feel like I was really wrong, because I feel like in my first episode, when I was recapping the beginning of this show, I was like, you know what, if she lets down her walls, they're going to be the absolute power couple. How wrong I was. They are gone. Goodbye. Kasha and Kwame. Oh, Kasha, that dominatrix outfit, my god. If she was not trying with that pink number that split up the backside, she is now. And perhaps it maybe worked a little bit because they walk in holding hands. Kwame pissed me off. He's like, you know what, intimacy comes easy for him, but he feels like if he sleeps with her, then it's him committing to her. You've married the fucking girl, mate. Kasha's like super loud and proud of being a sexual deviant. Their question is like, why haven't we been intimate yet? And Kwame's like, well, because me. And she goes off. She's like, no, it's not. It's supposed to be this really big, powerful speech of being, you know, a feminine, like, boss bitch. But I think she was just really hurt. And that was a defense mechanism. I think that she was just trying to not look so rejected on television. And then she's like, you can't dictate to me when I can have sex or not. And I'm like, what are you gonna do, rape him? Everything that he says, even the experts are like raising their eyebrows and stuff. I'm like, that's not very professional. And even Kwame's like, oh yeah, carry on raising your eyebrows. Yeah, I didn't like that at all from them. Anyway, they both say stay, and I don't know how this is going to go. I don't see it going anywhere, to be honest, and I just feel like maybe if Kasha, if she relaxes just a little bit, maybe it will come easier for her, pun intended. Then we've got Chanita and Jordan, and this really surprised me. I did not see Chanita getting involved in everything. This whole time I've been saying Jordan and Chanita, they're like the boring couple that you just can't help but love. But Chanita is right in the center of all the drama with Thomas and April, because there's all the stuff about April slacking Chanita off, and I'm starting to see a bit more of a bitchy side to Chanita. Like, she's kind of going out there and feeding information into different parts of the group. Like, poor Adrian has just been like terrified to come out. He just wants to avoid the drama, but he just literally can't. And he's right, like on camera he was like, you know what, this isn't funny drama. And that's true. April's like feigning illness, and like, what a convenient time. George kind of has to stick up for her all by himself during the party. I did like how he was like, you know what, like, sort it out when she's here so she can defend herself, so we can all talk about it like adults. Bless George. I think he's just such a dad, isn't he? Like, he was like, right, that's it, the drama ends here and that's it, final. And I was like, he's so cute. It was like he was speaking to a 4-year-old. Of course, the producers make these four, Adrian, Thomas, Chanita and Jordan, the first to arrive at this little party, and therefore Chanita brings it up right away, because I think that she is actually quite nasty too. She is trying to get everyone on her side, and she's starting to throw out a few insults like, oh, sometimes you need a Rottweiler, not a puppy. So after the dinner party, they have this big fight off camera, I think, and he basically says to her, you're not a nice person. I'm starting to see that. So she's now in tears. This has hurt her. She thinks that they lack communication. Jordan's starting to question stuff. She's even going, oh, you've got ADHD. Like, is it her right to say that? No, I think that you could say it in a more sensitive way. If you feel that way, you could be like, you know what, like, maybe you should look into it more and just have a look, because I feel a certain way. You don't just go out and say, you've got ADHD, that's not fair. However, they choose to stay, and Kwame was not very happy with Chanita, saying like, don't do that again. I agree. Lara and Richie, they spent the night apart after what I thought was a really lovely yes week together. She was like talking to him openly about what she likes sexually, and he flipped on her. He was just like, oh, well, that makes me think that you're talking about having sex with other people. Like, what? I mean, I'm sorry, there's certain things I like and don't like in sex, and I tell my partner that. It's open communication. It's so that you can have the best sex that you can, because you know each other's bodies, you know what each other like and don't like. Like, shut the fuck up, Richie. You insecure little man-child. Like, Richie. He walks in alone and he's like Billy Big Bollocks. He is awful, just walking in, like saying that she was going nuts, she was doing that, like really like getting everyone on his side before she got there, which is not fair in the slightest. His ego was clearly bruised and he was doing everything he could to just big himself back up. Then she walks in and he gives her the most intense hug I've ever seen. Like, just get your hands off of her, please. They have this question about like their future in the long term, and Lara just absolutely avoids the question, as I would too, because like, ugh. The next day they talk on the sofa because she doesn't really want to hash this out in front of everyone, and again, his hand is on her at all fucking times. She breaks down, he cuddles her. You can see she doesn't want to cuddle. Eventually they leave, and I'm so glad that they did. But even during the commitment ceremony and stuff, like after they'd both said leave, he continues to have his arm around her. Like, fuck.
What did you say about Richie and Laura? Was it Lara or Laura? Lara.
They both said leave, and I think it's because it's maybe a bit suffocating, and I just said that I can imagine them living together and her going to the toilet and him going, would you like some toilet roll to wipe your vagina?
April and George, I've kind of already spoken about them a bit, but during the commitment ceremony, she was like throwing in the odd cough here and there just for good measure, you know? I was sick. They feel very secure in their relationship. They've been intimate, they stay. Then the new couples. However, I don't have time to talk about them right now, so I will record that little section later and insert it after this. Sorry everyone, the new couples are going to have to be in another episode because I've had a day from hell and I don't feel like filming right now. See you next time.